Hello, everybody. This is Nicole Johnson Starr with another unannounced radio show program. Oh goodness, I just did a brain. My brain just passed methane. This is the PTSD Retreat radio talk show, and we have another unannounced show. This episode is about neurofeedback, and we have an awesome guest with us. This is a mom, and she happens to know about neurofeedback. So my guest is Elizabeth Shaw. Elizabeth, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Welcome to this show. Why neurofeedback?
Well, I got into neurofeedback because I believe in alternative medicine, and it's painless, it's non-invasive, and it's a permanent fix. And plus I'm a mom and my son is dealing with PTSD. So I decided to start looking into alternative medicines other than drugs.
Awesome. Well, then I'm going to ask this. What is neurofeedback?
Well, neurofeedback, it's an EEG biofeedback. It's actually a learning modality designed to retrain dysregulated brainwave patterns.
Okay, so speaking layman's, for those of us,
Okay.
So basically you're just mapping the brain waves?
Yes, what you do is they do an EEG, and you basically have 4 brain waves. For example, the delta brain wave is when you're asleep.
Mm-hmm.
The theta brainwave is just as you're beginning to fall asleep. The alpha brainwave is a relaxed and stress-free when you're just kind of chilling out. And the beta is when you actually focus. So if you were playing a video game, you would be mainly using your beta because you're focusing on your video game. And those are what they consider normal patterns. When you have a dysregulation, these normal brainwave patterns, they become abnormal. So using neurofeedback with an EEG, you are able to see the different levels of the brainwaves as far as the dysregulation goes. And using the neurofeedback, we can take the abnormal brainwaves and make them normal again. So it's like a learning modality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually done over 20 sessions, over 7 weeks of real intense. Using the brain core therapy, which is what I use, they have a little computer that they keep for life, and it's programmed. And they can do this in between their sessions. And after 7 weeks, they get to keep this little computer, and if they have a problem later on, where they start feeling themselves not being able to focus, they can plug this computer on and put these headphones on, and within a couple of minutes, they're fine again. But it's a permanent fix. So
That's amazing.
and it works with all different things. It works with ADD, ADHD, insomnia, some autism, works with that. So there's all different things that it works with.
Now, when I did some research on this before, I saw that it also works for substance abuse, anxiety. They also say it's also worked in depression, epilepsy, bipolar disorder, migraines, which my mother suffered with, and I wish I'd known about this as a kid. But, headaches and chronic pain, as well as PTSD. Now, do you guys have veterans that are coming to you?
At this point, this is so new for me that I'm trying to get the word out to the veterans to get them to come to us. She's been doing this now for a year with ADHD, anxiety, insomnia, fibromyalgia is another one that it works with. So we haven't had any soldiers yet, but I'm working on it.
Okay. What Are you guys offering this to soldiers for free?
We can on a limited basis at this point.
Okay. So like the first few sessions for free?
What it would be is one soldier every 7 weeks we would be able to do. They go through the Homecoming for Veterans organization.
Okay.
Listed on there as the doctor.
Okay. So that's homecomingforvets.com, isn't it?
It's homecomingforveterans.org.
Org. I always mess that up. Forgive me. And now, folks, I have actually been to homecomingforvets.org myself, and they have a great spot on there that explains that about neurofeedback. I mean, it's very easy. What is neurofeedback? And they clearly explain it in words that are easy to read, and it's definitely something worth looking into. Now, the VA is not, and I repeat, is not having this as a regular treatment. Now, Elizabeth, you did tell me that they are now starting to do studies, though.
Yes, out in California.
Okay.
There's 40 years of science behind this.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes the VA a while to get it together, more or less.
Yeah, and the VA is notorious for red tape.
Yeah, without getting political, okay?
Yeah, we'll leave out the politics. You know, there's way too much of that happening on TV already. So.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
Yeah. You know,
and another good website for what I do is braincoretherapy.com, and that it also explains the particular type of neurofeedback that I market.
Okay.
So that's an excellent website for anybody that's looking into a neurofeedback program.
Awesome. And just so you guys know, I just found out, you know, that they have a description for brainwave dysregulation. You know, she was explaining how there's different distinct brain waves depending on, you know, whether or not we're asleep, awake, relaxing, stressed as all get out. But it actually explains how this, and it actually has a graph there on this webpage, along with other things that it actually works with. And wow, I didn't know that it worked with, that it worked for fibromyalgia.
Yeah, one of the latest studies that they're doing now using neurofeedback is with stroke victims, people who have strokes.
Wow, I didn't know that either. Are they using it pre-stroke, or is it during or after that they're doing?
After someone has a stroke. Because basically your brain waves, you know, do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not functioning right, you retrain that particular brainwave to function. And my understanding is as a result, is pretty amazing. They're getting back their mobility for a stroke victim. There's a lot of good things about it. A lot of good, but it is alternative medicine.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with alternative. That just means not the normal mainstream. A lot of the listeners that are coming to this show are doing so because they've been on medication, and then they're taking medication for that medication, and they're still not getting better. And so the people are starting to look for more alternative methods that aren't necessarily mainstream. And quite frankly, my mom raised me with this mentality that if you don't have to take medicine, you don't. And if it isn't, you do whatever you can before you take medicine. That is the last absolute resort. It's not a first choice, the first premium choice. But it seems like today in America, it's become completely the opposite.
Well, I think today people want a quick fix.
Yeah.
You go and you pop a pill and you feel better.
Yeah. Those pills are now starting to include Ecstasy. I'm not okay with that.
Well, alternative medicine, I've been doing alternative medicine on, myself for years. So I believe in it.
Wow.
And the thing is, it is expensive. That's the sad part about it. Most insurances won't pay for alternative medicine.
True. But we're doing our best to make sure we can get that out to where everybody can actually, every veteran and their family members deserves to actually get this treatment for free. That's my personal belief. So we're looking for as many providers that will actually give it as much of it for free as possible, because we know they still have to make a living too. So.
Well, yeah, and if we could get the VA to pay for this, we could do a lot more for the soldiers.
Yeah. And we'll work on it. We'll work on it together.
That's a goal that I'm working on, and not just doing the mainstream. I plan on hitting some of the senators and the congressmen to work on it. And it's not going to be an easy task, but I don't go down real easy, so.
You know what? That's because you're... Now, I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans. Your son is in the military, correct?
Yes, he is.
And how many years has he served?
He'll be... Actually, in November, it was 20 years. We're just waiting for the paperwork now to get satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
So I think June he'll be out.
Well, a very big congratulations and thank you for your son's service, because that's 20 years is a long time. That's definitely an earned status of benefits. And now, were you military before? Were you a military family? Was your husband military? Can we know a little bit about you?
No, my son's the only one that's military. My dad was in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
But that's basically the military in our family.
Wow. So this was a huge change for your family when he went in.
Yeah, it was a huge change, but you have to let your kids do what they need to do.
Mm-hmm. Now,
and he wanted to do this, so I supported him.
Well, thank you very much, being a patriotic mom, i.e. supporting your son in their endeavors. That's truly a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful attribute.
Well, I thank you, but I think a lot of people support our soldiers. They should, anyhow.
I agree 100%. I got to ask you,
yes,
what was it like? Because my understanding is your son now has PTSD, correct?
Yes.
What are the big changes that you've seen in your son, from before he left to now with his PTSD?
He has a hard time sleeping. He has anger management problems. He used to love to work out, doesn't want to work out anymore. And he's also in law enforcement, so that complicates it even more.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't want to talk. He's not the lovable. He's not the lovable kid anymore. Is the easiest way to put it. With the drugs that he is on, it is helping him sleep, and it is helping him control his anger.
Mm.
But I would prefer him not to be on drugs.
What mom would prefer their kids to be on drugs? Come on. Well, good mom, I'll say. When you've talked to him, how does he react? Does he engage with you in conversation?
Well, see, that's one of the sad things. We don't talk that much. He kind of alienated some of his family. In fact, I just talked to him about a week ago for the first time in a year.
How do you feel?
It hurts. To be honest with you, it hurts. I feel like there's more that I could do. I try. I do communicate to him via email.
Mm-hmm.
And I have sent this information to him. And he said he was going to, give it to his counselor at the VA.
Yeah.
I don't know how far it'll go, but hopefully, we'll talk again soon.
Yeah. As a mom that has dealt with seeing her son change, what's something you would tell other moms as if they're going through the same situation?
No matter what happens, just be there. I mean, I know if my son called me right now and needed me, I would be there in a New York second. No matter what the distance is, just try to understand that they're dealing with something that they have no control over. I mean, that's the best advice that I can give. They're your child, you know, whether it's your son or your daughter. You have to be there for them no matter what.
What about if your son were listening right now? What would you say to him?
That I love him and I will always be there for him no matter what.
That's awesome. And to other soldiers who are going through...
Count on me. So.
You know what? I'm going to say thank you for him and for all the other soldiers that have heard that. What would you say to other soldiers who are struggling with the same things as your son?
Get help. You know, it's nothing to be ashamed of. There's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. Get the neurofeedback. If you can do the neurofeedback along with talking with somebody, that's a double whammy. But get the help you need. It will help you return back to your life. And that's the most important thing, is getting your life back. You've done a great service for our country. You've put your life on the line. You know, so be proud of doing that. I mean, that's what I could say to them, is just get the help.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that, because
I know that the doctor that I work with and myself will do whatever we can to help out the soldier. And, you know, I'm looking at different organizations just to get the word out. They need to know that this is available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's very important.
And
I thank you because you're still in the service.
Right now, I'm waiting to fully heal so I can get back into my uniform on a regular basis. I'm missing that. So the sooner the military clears that, the faster I'll be back on my boots. So that'll make me feel much better. Thank you very much. You know, folks, again, that website that she said, if you guys want to learn more about neurofeedback and you want to get a provider, you can actually go over to Homecoming for Veterans. And now that's Homecoming, the number 4, veterans.org. Again, that's Homecoming for veterans.org. And there is videos there. You can find a clinician, or if you are a provider, they're always looking for providers. They also have case studies and research that you can actually look up on this website. And you heard this is one of the individuals that works with them, so you know that they're actually pretty cool people, and they're moms who are dealing with this themselves. They're in through their children, and it's not just anybody. I mean, every single one of them are trained specifically in this to assist you with this. Now, Elizabeth, your background is not, you're also from a medical background yourself.
Yes.
What did you do with medical, in the medical field?
I did cardiac ultrasound for 27 years.
27 years.
Yeah, I started way back when. I don't want to give my age away.
We will not give that away. Wow, that's a long time. Thank you so much. What made you switch? I mean, obviously, your son, did you choose to switch, because of your son only? Because that is a huge change.
I retired out of the ultrasound, out of medicine, because it got too political. I'm not very political. And so I actually went into bartending. Are you ready for that one?
No way!
Yeah. And did fine dining, and I still do it part-time. And I have a girlfriend who is a chiropractor who approached me and asked me if I would help her market the brain core therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was my idea to market it to the soldiers and the firemen and the policemen.
Wow.
And so I said, sure. I can do this. I talk to everybody.
Folks, I can vouch for that because she talked to me.
Well, and I do, where I work, when you're a bartender, it's one of the best marketing places you can be.
That's true.
And I talk to everybody, and I know quite a few people, and I have quite a few connections, so
yeah.
It's just getting the word out. That's the hardest part, is getting the word out and letting people know this exists.
Mm-hmm.
We have doctors who are saying, I have a child that, has ADHD. I didn't know this was available.
Wow.
It's only been out in the clinic for about 5 or 6 years. Most of it's been university-based.
Over the last 40 years.
The last 40 years, yes. And then they finally made it so that the equipment can be bought and put it to a clinic versus going to a university.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's springing up all over the place.
Well, and folks, I'll actually put onto the PTSD Retreat webpage some of the research that's off of these websites, braincoretherapy.com, as well as homecomingforveterans.org, so you can actually see it for yourself and read it. And Elizabeth, thank you so much for just sharing that, especially on such short notice. Folks, she and I met through Talking with Heroes. As a lot of you guys know, I'm actually one of the backup assistants for Bob for when he does his radio shows on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And she and I met through that show, and I'm so grateful because we did not have someone that could actually talk about neurofeedback. Because, as she said, it's finally coming now into the light of modern day public eye, and there's a lot of things like that. As you guys know, I do EFT, and this stuff has been around for years, for decades, and it's not mainstream because it's not over at the VA, so a lot of people don't know about it. We will do our best to make sure that you know about the different modalities that are out there, different treatments, different methods that you can use to combat the symptoms of PTSD. No matter what, the PTSD Retreat is here for you. You are not forgotten here. And if you have any questions and concerns or comments for Elizabeth or just on anything dealing with neurofeedback, please send us an email at support@theptsdretreat.org. Again, that's support@theptsdretreat.org. You can also reach us through our webpage at www.theptsdretreat.org. Again, that's www.theptsdretreat.org. Or you can call us at 801-580-1976. Or you can also reach us through Skype, the PTSD Retreat. So thank you guys so much for listening. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being on tonight and for giving us that quick synopsis of neurofeedback. I really appreciate that, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
You are quite welcome. If there's anything I can do, please let me know. Okay. I will be more than happy to do whatever I can.
You know what? I'm actually going to encourage you to I'll have you put the information down on the PTSD Retreat because you actually know more about neurofeedback than I do. So if you don't mind, go ahead and put it on the Facebook page for everybody, and then leave your contact information so everyone can actually see that. They deserve to know where they can go to get assistance. And again, I think you just thank you for being a mom, and tell your son thank you so much. Oh, my pleasure. Definitely my pleasure. And the same to your son. And to everyone else, thank you so much for listening. This is Nicole Johnson Starr and Elizabeth Shaw with the PTSD Retreat Radio Talk Show. Have a good night, everyone.